Welcome back to another episode of the Dead Air Records podcast. My name is Jess.
And I'm Mark.
And if you're not familiar, we are an independent record shop based right here in the heart of Liverpool. This week we have a very special episode. We're joined by Liverpool band A Lesser Version, who are going to take us through a stripped back set of lots of tracks from their first, second and third albums. And their third album has just come out.
Awesome.
Yeah, sounds incredible. Enjoy.
Tides turned and the floods came behind on. That your mood changed for your body told me so. And the worst part of the whole thing was the waiting to be sure. But I'm certain now. So I must go. So the biggest wave that I'd ever seen, it came crashing down. Flew up into the sky in search of forevermore. For fears so hopelessly waiting had caused me to slowly stop. And though I did understand, I stood with my head buried deep in the sand. The things that I saw were not pleasant, but they were unspeakable. Obscure color blindness in a place you so vivid. The greens were most timid. It made the whole place look quite miserable. The things that I saw, they were unspeakable. The things that I saw, they were unspeakable. You had resided for years upon years upon years. The grays were so vivid, the greens were most timid. It made the whole place look quite miserable. The things that I saw, they were unspeakable. Never really felt the same as futures came by tragically. Walked upon the grave in which he lay, next to the point I'd missed, hardly hoping to exist in somewhere that felt hard to be, barely holding on to me whilst living like I could not wait. Stand alone before the gates of half-hearted apologies, to believe that it could be the same again without my friend. Bitterness is bound to end in better ways than I could ever want. Every time with thoughts of chasing you, I'm blessed to know I simply cannot rest. For if you go, you might not miss me as you grow, nor hesitate to not live. For I am holding on to dreams of living like I could not wait. Stand alone before the gates of half-hearted apologies, to believe that it could be the same again without my friend. Bitterness is bound to end in better ways than I could ever want. And I want to know that you would call. Never forget the days you would call. Hope you remember my tried but never did become the thing she longed for when she cried. So even as her heart hurt, love never died. Fear of the strangest types might call your name and try to break your mind, but worse than words is still in the quiet. Sylvia. Waiting for a sign from you, waiting for a signal to change. Have you forgotten what your love can do? Is this the end? Walking through the city, your boots are high-heeled and are shining bright. The sun was sparkling on the shaft of your knife. Flower in the morning rain, dying in my hands. Was it all in vain? Superstar in your own private movie, I wanted just a minor part, but I'm not a fool. I know you're cool. I never really wanted your heart. You're the keeper of the key. Nothing seems to bring you down. It's not that cool when I'm around. Flower in the morning rain, dying in my hands. Was it all in vain? Superstar in your own private movie, I wanted just a minor part. But I'm no fool, I know you're cool. I never really wanted your heart.
And that'll do. Sound.
A lesser version. Thanks so much for joining us in the shop.
Thanks for having us.
Hey, that session was amazing. Thank you. It sounded really, really good.
Thank
you. We've caught you a bit of like a pivotal time at the moment. I feel like we've managed to squeeze some time in between your mini tour that you're doing throughout April.
Yeah.
How's it all going?
Yeah, it's been wonderful. We've played Manchester and Liverpool so far. It's been quite close to home. We go to Brighton in just a couple of days, and then we play Bristol and London a little later in the month. All shows we're really excited for. It was nice to kick things off close to home, and the show that we did at Quarry was my personal favourite, but I'm not sure about the rest. I think it's certainly in everyone's top 3 anyway, so it's been really great so far.
That's so nice. It's giving you good energy riding into the rest of the month then.
Absolutely, yeah.
Amazing. And that was the album launch show, right, as well? So we've got a new album to talk about.
Yes, we do.
Tell us about that.
It's called 0.2 Flesh, etc., which always is funny to say out loud to people. But yeah, that was our 3rd album. Long time coming, but really glad that it's out there. And yeah, couldn't have been a better place to sort of play to release it.
Nice. And then how was your process for doing that, like writing and recording and getting back into the studio?
Yeah, it's a funny one. So this is the first record that we've all sort of played on. We share a space in the Baltic Triangle with some of our favourite bands in the city. And it's the first time that we've done the bulk of the recording in that room as well. Obviously, like so many people nowadays, it started off in bedrooms and, you know, looking after everything yourself. We were able to like engineer some drum sessions with Ollie Roper of Gladness, who's really talented, part of like the Cloth Collective in Liverpool, who we share the space with. And so it was great to sort of start laying out the framework for an album a little bit differently this time. And yeah, we've all chipped away at it for quite a long time, it feels, but it's good that it's finally out there.
Nice. And then what are some of the tracks you played for us today? Can you just run us through those?
Yeah, so we opened with Your Mood Changed, which is from the new record. We played Sylvia, which was the first song we ever released.
Nice.
We did Dead or Dying and For Years Upon Years Upon Years, which are both from our second record. And then a little cover of a cover, a lesser version, if you will, of a Mazzy Star song. I had to get it in there. But, you know, Blue Flower, the Mazzy Star version, originally by Slap Happy, also covered by Pale Saints, all excellent bands and artists. So it was nice to play that one of my favourite ever songs.
Nice, amazing. So taking us back to the new album, the artwork, is there any story behind that of how you came to it to be?
I suppose one of the things, and I did the artwork, so I suppose I've been talking the whole time, but I'll carry on. The sort of concept, in many ways, of the album, we talk a lot about with this project, the sort of parts of it that are distinctly, whether it's acoustic or analog or like of the human, which is the flesh part of the album title, and then the 0.2 is all very much digital, and some of our stuff can sound very synthetic at the same time, just by the nature of how it's made. And so I wanted the artwork to sort of, it's a bit of a mishmash and what you might call a digital collage of like landscapes and things that feel very much of people and of humans or of the natural world in some way, but yeah, distorted and made to basically reflect what the themes of the album are leaning into and what I think this band dynamic has become to an extent. I don't know if you guys want to say anything about it, if you've had any thoughts about what it looks like or represents to you. Well, that was certainly where I was going when I was making it. Yeah.
Nice. And nice to draw on all those dynamics. So what are some of the influences that you individually brought into this album?
There's certainly some of like the stuff that we've done before that's like you would put it into a shoegazy bracket. But then I think there's maybe a bit more of a folk influence on this album, and definitely, well, I won't speak for all of us, but I'm a very big fan of emo music, you know, and there's certainly a lot of that. Yeah, and there's lots of, like, I think we're very big on trying to keep it current, and like there's lots of records, like you just said, Tagabo, like that's one of our favourite bands, definitely on the more shoegaze side, that yeah, we're influenced by. I'll pass it round though, so you can say anything.
I just said Tagabo in his ear, so that's why he said that. But yeah, that was definitely an influence on this album. What about you guys?
I'd say maybe not the album, because I joined after like the majority of the album was already like recorded, but especially in the live setting, I feel like since I joined in the past like 12 months, kind of bringing in more elements that necessarily weren't there, as in like in these current run of shows I've got like a sampler, so in between songs playing at the moment snippets of a remix that Adam did of one of our songs, so it's more like electronic heavy, sort of like breakbeaty sort of stuff, just to try and not only make the tune-ups less awkward, because I know we all kind of felt that at some point, that, yeah, but also to bring some variation. But yeah, I don't know if you want to say anything.
Yeah, with bass stuff, I like a lot of like melodic bass, and I bring that to it. And then with synth, as was said, big into electronic stuff. So there was a couple of times where me and Liam just got really drunk in the room and messed around with a synth, and then broke it and then recorded it.
Sometimes the best way, you've got to break the machine to then figure out what it can do.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of overlap in a lot of what we listen to, but I think there's also a lot of space and encouragement, I guess, to kind of lean on those kind of individual inspirations. And I know that I really like folk music and kind of, yeah, just indie and maybe what would be classed as popular, like pop music as well. And so I'm, yeah, always trying to find a nice harmony, or yeah, and kind of like how to kind of make something simple as well. I like leaning a lot on the subtleties and kind of putting the spotlight on other kind of elements. So yeah.
Nice. And yeah, and we heard those tracks today in like a stripped back format, and you mentioned about those sounds you've got going in between tracks. Like, what else can people expect from like a live, seeing you guys live, and what that live sound is?
Yeah, I think we do sort of go through, certainly the songs we're playing on this tour, we're going through the sort of, I don't want to say like the whole discography, but there's a song, at least one from every release. We're only 3 albums in, but certainly is, you know, we'll have our heavier moments where we lean on the influences from shoegaze and post-hardcore. But then, as Nick's alluded to there, like, I think all of us are probably really big folk fans, and them gentler sides of emo that come across as well. And then, yeah, now that we've got the sampler and the keys going, it allows us to delve into that side of the record, which does maybe deal with like the digital and, yeah, the synthetic, as it were.
Nice.
Yeah, I think as well, like the way that kind of translates to live a lot of the time is, you know, those songs are never really kind of finished and, you know, complete in that way. And I think, you know, we quite like to kind of get tucked into kind of changing a song for live, and yeah, and just kind of like letting the songs be like organic and always living and always subject to kind of changes or things like that, to kind of, I don't know, just reflect where we are currently at any time.
Nice. Yeah, we get bored quite easy in the studio, so we just mess about.
Yeah, always tinkering, always kind of experimenting with it, seeing where it goes. Nice. And are there any plans to put the new album onto vinyl?
Not that I know of.
I know it can be a really big challenge.
So is that the open call? No, you know, we would absolutely love to release all of our records on vinyl. It's just really expensive, and it's, I guess, like the press times nowadays, or like the lead time or whatever is particularly large. But certainly, hopefully one day.
Which kind of like leads us on to quite nicely to like, obviously there are so many challenges at the moment for everybody, and especially like bands. Like, what are some of the challenges that you're facing, or you know that similar bands or your peers are also facing at the moment?
It feels about as hard as ever to be in a band, but, you know, we're still just grateful that we get to do it at all. There's some things that, like, everyone goes through with, like, access to, you know, the infrastructure of a music scene, especially being in Liverpool. Everyone knows a lot goes on in the capital, and there's not as much of an infrastructure here. But in a way, we thrive on being tucked away somewhat up in our little corner of the country. And, you know, the real issues are things like I think I mentioned earlier, like our London show on this tour. We'll wake up in London during the London Marathon, and most of the city is going to be locked down, and all the hotels are very expensive. So it's just things like that, like, yeah, when you're booking everything DIY and looking after yourselves, it can become quite the workload alongside, you know, all having 9-5s, so to speak. But I don't know, does anyone else have thoughts on particular issues?
I think just industry in general, there's a big divide now, especially with, like, monetary wise, you know, whether it be touring is obviously a very sort of big financial risk. Not only, you know, it's costing to get to these places, but also, you know, having to take time away from work, or having to, like, you know, I hopefully invest into merch to then try and recoup some of the money, but then it's still a big sort of initial like hit money wise. And then even just stuff now with the way the world's going in terms of, like, fuel prices, and you know driving down to Brighton, that's going to take a while. It's going to be quite a few miles, and then finding places to stay if we can crash at someone's house, or if we will have to book a hotel or a hostel or something. So there's so much, and especially as Liam said, organising all that at the same time as, you know, doing your regular job as well. It does get quite sort of a lot to deal with. I don't know if anyone else wants to say anything.
Yeah, I guess kind of on that, it's I find myself often kind of resetting what success looks like for me in music. And I don't know, when I was younger, it was probably being in the biggest band in the world and super famous or something. And now it's, you know, just having a nice time with the band and travelling to a new city is successful to me. And I think that's what a lot of probably musicians kind of do. And I think that those changes kind of just reflect, you know, the ever-changing scene and the industry and stuff. And I think, yeah, goals and objectives are always kind of having to be reset constantly to kind of reflect that fast change.
And I guess we were chatting earlier, and you were saying how you've got, like, this really good support network in the city, and I guess that always helps in the face of those challenges. So yeah, what's your experience being of Liverpool's music scene?
Yeah, I personally, like, couldn't be more proud of the fact that we're a part of such a community. We're really fortunate in the sense that we're very close. My full-time job is at Future Yard over at Birkenhead. It's one of my favourite venues, where we played our first ever show. And our very, very close friend group are the people behind Quarry, which is obviously one of our favourite venues, where we played on Friday night. But again, yeah, the people we share a studio with, like Clough, they put on great events around Liverpool. They're putting on Lily Seabed a little bit later in the year, which I'm really looking forward to. But there are bands like Gladness, I mentioned before, All Mordra, one of my favourite bands, Little Fairy Things, Trial Tapes. There's so many that Hunky Dory, of course, I didn't forget them. You know, they're all not only friends, but, like, immaculately talented people as well. And it's really a pleasure to be amongst so many people like that.
I think another thing as well, in the sort of type of, like, group and network that we're kind of a part of in the scene, is, like, I think Friday like showed it alone with all the different types of music. You know, like, one of, like, my personal friends who also has worked with the band as well now is Elijah Wright, who couldn't be, it's so, like, far removed from what we are. He's just an electronic producer, but hopefully, like, you know, he's working on a remix for us. And then we've got, it didn't end up happening, but like Those Holy are originally supposed to be on it, and then you know, industrial sort of big techno noise. I feel like it's not sort of defined to any sort of genre or the type of either like friends we have or like bands we play with. It's just like the only thing we do have in common is being proud to play in this city and like also put it on some sort of like platform to show people like this is what, you know, Liverpool can offer, and you don't have to go like, you know, down south to the capital to find anything new because there's so much going on here. I don't know if anyone else.
Yeah, I think it's just, I think everyone has a lot of pride to be from Liverpool and be playing in Liverpool, and it's almost like something to prove to, you know, cities who maybe have a little bit more going on, I guess. Well, they don't actually. That's not even true. We've got it going on. But yeah, I think like Liverpool's just like you know, even just like going out and having a drink or something, you're always kind of brushing shoulders with other musicians, and Liverpool's just a bit of like a choose your own adventure where you can just kind of walk to a different bar and you kind of seeing the same faces, and I think just the size, I guess, kind of forces that interaction, and you're meeting people from, you know, completely different musical backgrounds and kind of scenes and stuff, and I guess like the music scene is small, but then there are sort of pockets of little scenes, and it's always nice to just kind of, I'm still finding and meeting new people, so yeah, it's always exciting.
Nice. I think that's a perfect place to leave it. That's cool. Great. Thank you so much.